Hi, I'm Tamara Haynes here at AQS Paducah Quilt Week, and I am joined by Audrey Esarey, and she is the first place winner in the Wall Quilts Modern category, sponsored by Statler by Gamble. Hello and welcome.
Hi, thanks.
And so this is the second award-winning quilt that she has in our contest, and this is called Neon Radial. It's an earlier quilt in the series that you've been working on, and kind of your first foray into hand dyes as well.
Yes,
okay.
This is number 10 of my radial quilt series, and it was the first quilt where I was able to incorporate my own hand-dyed fabrics into the quilt. It's just a little bit of hand-dyed fabric, this raspberry and chartreuse color.
When you started this, you did a smaller concept to kind of help narrow and refine what you wanted to do in the larger format?
Yes. In December 2019, I made a 24 by 24 inch of this design. That mini was a way to introduce and test this wedge in the background. What I did then was I took that mini and I drew digitally on it to test different ways to have these arcs introduced and intersecting lines. Because I enjoyed the process of making the mini so much, I decided to move forward with a larger version of the quilt. And so I printed a 60 by 60 paper version of the quilt. And I, with pencil to paper, drew these intersecting lines and these partial arcs. I cut apart that paper template and used it for either the fabric templates or for foundation paper piecing. This quilt leverages both foundation paper piecing and standard curve piecing. There's no applique in this quilt.
And then I see the background is at the same 1/4 inch line. Did you start from one end to the other, and was there any shifting of thread colors this time?
Yes, in this quilt, I actually loaded it on my long arm diagonally. So I quilted from one point to the other point. So I had to be very careful managing the bias of the fabric to quilt it diagonally. I changed the background color of the thread at this diagonal right here. And then I also introduced some accent quilting with the magenta lines of stitching here.
Yes. There's so much movement here. It's just so interesting to look at. Is there a special batting that you use to help keep that bias you mentioned? How did you help control that? What helped with that?
I was very diligent about basting the quilt as I rolled it on the long arm. The batting that's inside this quilt is 100% cotton, a warm and white. The white batting is very important because I'm using a white or slightly off-white fabric here, so I don't want any of the natural fibers of the batting showing through the white fabric.
Yes. And so what about the backing? Did we do anything special there? On
the backing of this quilt, it's just a normal black backing, but you can see that accent quilting bobbin thread shows that additional accent quilting there. Awesome.
Well, thank you so much. Is there anything else you'd like us to know about the quilt?
Just maybe that I plan to continue making quilts in this series. I'm really enjoying it.
Oh, so we don't know the end goal yet of the series. We don't know how many this is going to lead to?
No, I think it's just until I run out of radial type ideas.
Gotcha. So we invite you to bring your modern creations to our audience here at an AQS Quilt Week.